Okay, good morning, dear students. Uh, am I audible? Is anyone unmute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So we'll continue. In the last lecture, we have started single phase half bridge voltage source inverter. If anybody want to explain the working of this particular single phase half bridge voltage source inverter, then I'll just wait for 1 minute. Otherwise, we will go for the next. Anyone from your class, those who have already, uh, okay, so 19 students are, okay. So anyone from these 20 students want to explain the working of this half bridge, single phase half bridge voltage source inverter? Okay, it is a single phase because the output voltage is a single phase. So that's why it is called as a single phase. Half a bridge, we are using only two switches. So it is called as a half bridge. And uh, voltage source, as your input is a voltage, so it is called voltage source inverter, right? So this particular circuit that already I explained in the last lecture for resistive load, okay, with the some equations, that is for load voltage, RMS voltage, average voltage, and so on. So this circuit consists of two batteries, the named as EDC by 2, EDC by 2. So total voltage, if it is measured, because both batteries are connected in series, so total voltage is equal to ADC by 2 plus ADC by 2. So it will be equal to ADC. Okay. So diode D1 and D2 that are not required for resistive load, but in a circuit it is connected because the same circuit you can draw for half a bridge voltage source inverter for inductive load, right? Just your load is inductive R or RL. So for R load, diode D1 and D2 are not required. Okay, but for RL load, these diode D1, D2 are required, that are called as a freewheeling diode or feedback diode. Okay, so that's why that diode D1 and D2 are connected in a circuit. So working of this circuit already I explained, but I'll just explain in a short and then we will go for the next. Okay, whenever the switch S1 is closed, right? Whenever the C switch S1 is closed, see output frequency of this inverter is depends upon the switching speed, or you can say the time duration on time of S1 and S2. Okay, definitely you should keep on time off time of S1 S2 should be same, but as you change the on time for S1 S2, then frequency of your output voltage also changes. If on time S1 S2 S1 plus S2 equal to 1 millisecond, then frequency of output voltage is equal to 1 by 1 millisecond equal to 1 kilohertz, F equal to 1 by T. So as you change the on time of S1, S2, the output frequency of a circuit also changes. And that is the most important part of these inverters. Why we learn inverter? Not only for the inverters are used for home use, that is 50 hertz line frequency, but in industry or at least in power electronics, the inverters are not used for just maybe as to work home appliances or maybe a some electronic maybe circuits or maybe something like. So in industry, to drive the AC motors, we require a variable frequency, right? Constant voltage with a variable frequency is required, and that we can get from the such type of inverters. And that's why the inverters are maybe given in a part of your syllabus. Okay. So our focus is variable frequency. Keep in mind, output voltage is definitely AC, but which is a constant. But our aim is the variable frequency. And how we get variable frequency from this circuit? So simply by changing on time of S1 and S2. Okay. If S1 equal to zero point 0.5 millisecond and time S2 equal to zero point 0.5 millisecond. So total time equal to 1 millisecond, 1 divided by 1 millisecond equal to 1 kilohertz. Similarly, you can change the on time of S1, S2. So on time of S1, S2, it means we have to design a proper triggering circuit so that the on time of S1 and S2 should be same. When S1 is on, that time S2 should be off. When S2 when on, that time S1 should be off. So we have to design a proper triggering circuit. And even if you are using simple BJT, simple it means power BJT, power MOSFET, IGBT or other devices, then it is very easy to change the on time, because if you apply the base current, your transistor turns on. If you remove the base current, transistor turns off. So on and off is depends upon the base current of a transistor. So if you provide the base current to the transistor through IC 555, and if I change the on time, that is maybe the output frequency of IC 555, definitely the overall frequency of inverter is changed. Okay, so triggering circuit should be a proper, so that only one transistor should be turns on at a time for this half bridge. Okay, and other transistors should be off. When other transistor turns on, that time first transistor or first switch should be turns off. So at a time one switch maybe turns on, another should be turns off, right? And you can easily change the on time of S1, S2, so you will get a variable frequency. So will I just explain the circuit working? When S1 is on, that time the current start to flow, EDC positive, P, S1, then A, back to the load and negative. You can see here the current direction is from A to O. O, A, P, these are the notations. So current start to flow from plus EDC, P, then S1, then A, then load, O, and negative of battery. Okay, so that time you will get a positive half cycle. This is EDC by 2, positive, right? So because A is positive with respect to O, so you will get a positive. During second half, when S1 is off, so I just S1 off and S1, S2 should be on. When S2 on, then current C, what is the direction of current? This is current direction plus EDC by 2, then O, then load, then A, then S2, then back to the EDC minus, right? So this time the current direction is reverse, right? So current direction is reverse. So, and output voltage is also a negative part. You can see here, this is a voltage waveform and this is a load current waveform. So when voltage is positive, your current is also positive. When voltage is negative, current is also negative, and so on. This is the triggering pulse of transistor 1 or switch 1. This is the triggering pulse of transistor 2. And last one, voltage across switch. When S1 is on, the voltage across that S1 is ideally 0. Practically, whatever the voltage drop of device, maybe 0.7 for BJT, 1 volt for IGBT, or maybe a 3.5 volt for MOSFET, and so on, even 1 volt for SCR. Right? So this is a simple working with R load. Now, again, I'll tell you diode D1 and D2. No use of diode D1 and D2 in this circuit for resistive load. Okay, keep in mind. But for inductive load, it is definitely used. Okay, now working already, I explained you. In this particular circuit analysis, the average voltage of any waveform, that is positive, negative waveform. So average voltage is calculated by using integration. So 1 by 2 pi, 0 to 2 pi, E0 of omega d omega t, right? Then this is the average voltage. Now RMS, so 1 upon 2 pi, under root of 1 upon 2 pi, 0 to pi by 2. This is for quarter wave symmetry. Okay, you can put even 0 to 2 pi also, the result will be the same. But for quarter wave symmetry, we'll put the limit from 0 to pi by 2, E0 square omega t d omega t. So when you solve this particular integration, you will get the output equal to ADC by 2. Only ADC by 2. This is EORMS. The output voltage, RMS output voltage is equal to ADC by 2. Now, another important analysis, that is the instantaneous output voltage. You can calculate the voltage at any instant. Yeah, even at this instant, even at this instant, or any instant, right? So for that purpose, we are using a Fourier series. So instantaneous output voltage of inverter that can be found with the help of Fourier series and by using the following equation, that is E0 omega t equal to summation n equal to 1 2 3 up to infinite. Hey, वरती infinite आहे. I don't know is it visible or not for you on mobile phone, but it is n equal to 1 2 3 to infinite. Cn sine in bracket n omega t plus phi n, right? So this is the equation to find out the instantaneous output voltage of inverter, in which the Cn equal to under root of an square plus bn square and phi n equal to tan inverse of an by bn. Okay, here to me already शिकलेला असाल, maybe in digital communication, maybe in a EWP. So an is equal to 0 due to stereosymmetry. Okay, so an is always equal to 0, but bn is also equal to 0 for all even value of n. Bn is also equal to 0 for all even value of n. Only for odd value of n in a square wave, only odd value of n, you can find out the value of bn. So bn equal to 1 by pi 0 to 2 pi E0 omega t into sine n omega t d omega t. In this equation, if you put n equal to 2, 4, right, 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on, you will get a bn also equal to 0. Okay, so you will get a bn value only for odd value of n. So bn equal to 4 by pi, that is again a quarter wave symmetry. Due to quarter wave symmetry, bn equal to 4 by pi integration limit 0 to pi by 2 EDC by 2, that is EO omega t is EDC sine n omega t for all odd n, it is an odd value of n, right? So if when you solve this particular integration, you will get bn equal to 2 EDC by n pi for only odd value of n. For even it is equal to 0, but for all odd value of n, you will get equation bn equal to 2 EDC by 2 n 2 pi 2 EDC by 2 n pi, sorry. So this is equation for bn. Okay, now you put the value Cn equal to an square plus bn, so that is equal to twice EDC by n pi, because an is equal to 0 for all value of n, even for odd, for even. So an equal to 0, but bn for odd value, so Cn equal to 2 EDC by n pi, and phi n equal to 0, so phi n is always equal to 0, right? So the equation, that is instantaneous output voltage of an inverter, just put the value of Cn here. So E0 omega t equal to summation of n equal to 1 3 5. See here 2 and 4 and 6 and that values are removed. So because this E0 you will get only for the odd value of n. So n equal to 1 3 5 7 and so on. So up to infinite 2 EDC by n pi sine n omega t. So here it is put equal to 0 for all even values of n, but for odd values you will get this equation. Now the nth harmonic, you have to find out nth harmonic, that is first component is called fundamental. If you apply the square wave on a spectrum analyzer, I don't know you have seen or not the spectrum analyzer in any practical, but I think it was given in measurement and tool and something subject is given to you in a second year. So in that subject you have to learn all the instruments. So maybe spectrum analyzer is one of that instrument. So I'll just give the difference between CRO and spectrum analyzer. If you see the spectrum analyzer and CRO, both are looking same, but a small difference. On CRO, x-axis, you will get a time. Okay, on x-axis you will get a time, and y-axis you will get a magnitude of your waveform. But in a spectrum analyzer, on x-axis you will directly get a frequency, on y-axis again a magnitude, but on x-axis you will get direct frequency, no time. So if you apply the waveform, I'll just show you. uh, if you apply the waveform to the CRO, so it will looks like this, right? I'll just draw the square wave, not a sine wave, so that you will understand. I'll just draw here the square wave. So you will get the output waveform on CRO like this. But when you apply the same square wave on a spectrum analyzer, so you will get one frequency called as a fundamental frequency. If the square wave frequency is equal to 1 kilohertz, so you will get here directly 1 kilohertz on x-axis, like this one component. This is called fundamental component. Then you will get a harmonic, that is 3 kilohertz, first harmonic. Then you will get a next 5 kilohertz, then next 7 kilohertz, 9 kilohertz, 11 kilohertz, and so on. So you will directly get such straight lines on x-axis. Okay, so first line having the maximum magnitude, that is your fundamental component, that is your main frequency, and these are called as harmonics, right? Nth harmonic, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Actually, it's a third harmonic, fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic, ninth harmonic, 11th harmonic, and so on. If you see here, the amplitude of these harmonic component is reducing, and at the last it will be zero, right? At nth harmonic, depending upon again a fundamental frequency component and amplitude of fundamental component. But the spectrum analyzer view is like this. Okay, if you apply sine wave on a spectrum, and if you apply sine wave on CRO, both on spectrum you will get only one line, because there is no harmonic components in sine wave. Sine wave contains only fundamental components. Okay, no harmonic components. But square wave, triangular wave, other waves contains. Actually, square wave is a combination of sine, cosine, and harmonic components. If you see the square wave, if you learn in signal and systems, or maybe in other subject, I don't know in which subject, DSP I think. So square wave is basically a combination of sine, square, and harmonic components, right? So sine wave is nothing, maybe doesn't have any harmonic components, but triangular wave, square wave having harmonic component. Harmonic component means what? The multiple frequency components of fundamental frequency. Okay, multiple frequency components. You can say even unwanted signal. Harmonic components are unwanted signal. That's why basically the square wave waveform definitely which hits your home appliances, right? More as compared to the sine wave, because of these harmonic components. These are unwanted components and which hits your home appliances, maybe fan, or maybe a tube, or maybe other devices, or other appliances, whatever you are using, right? Because the square wave contains harmonic components. So normally in inverter, these harmonic components try to reduce by using some different circuits, or maybe called as a filter circuits, right? Maybe some wave shaping circuits are used so that the shape of waveform is changed. When shape of waveform is changed, it means the harmonic components are reduced. Okay, so square wave contains harmonic components. The first component is a fundamental, then second component is a third harmonic, then fifth harmonic, then seventh harmonic, then ninth harmonic, 11th harmonic, 13th, and so on. The amplitude is reducing of these harmonic components. Fundamental component having highest amplitude, then third component, then fifth, then seventh, then ninth, and so on. So this is the spectrum wave look, and this is the CRO look. Okay, so on a spectrum analyzer, we will directly get these straight lines on x-axis. Okay, so on x-axis you will directly get a frequency, and on y-axis you will get a amplitude, you can say magnitude. On in CRO it is again a magnitude, but on x-axis you will get a time. So you have to measure the time on x-axis, then multiply by the time per division, then you will get a total time for this particular wave, and then 1 by t equal to frequency. So that is a procedure to find out the frequency in a CRO. But in a spectrum analyzer, you will directly get the frequency, because on x-axis you will directly get a frequency. So frequency, fundamental component. This is the difference between square wave and spectrum analyzer and CRO, right? So we have to find out the nth harmonic component. That is the first, then third. First is the fundamental, third is the first harmonic, fifth is the second harmonic, seventh, so and so on. So we have to find the amplitude of these harmonic components also, right? So for that purpose, the equation is given E0 of nth equal to Cn by root 2. Okay. Now put the value of Cn here. That is twice EDC by n pi. So we'll put twice EDC by n pi into root 2. So it will be root 2 EDC by n pi. Okay. For n equal to 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. So first component, if you put n equal to 1, so you will get a root 2 by pi EDC equal to 0.45 of EDC. So see, the amplitude of first harmony, that is fundamental component, is equal to 0.45 EDC, right? Then you put here n equal to 3, then n equal to 5, n equal to 7, n equal to 9, n equal to 11, n equal to 13, and so on. So amplitude is reducing, and you will get the amplitude of every harmonic component. Okay, so this is the equation for fundamental component. That is actually value of fundamental component 0.45 EDC. Okay, and this is the value for E0 omega t, that is called instantaneous output voltage, is equal to that value, that is EDC by twice EDC by n pi. This is for nth number, okay, nth harmonic components. So instantaneous value, nth harmonic, this is the first harmonic equation. Then you can just put here n equal to 3, 5, 7, and so on. You will get the all harmonic components, the amplitude of every harmonic components. Okay. So even we have to find out the frequency of these components. So that we will see later on. Now, next one is operation with RL load. See, the circuit diagram is same for R and RL load. Just the output waveform and the working of RL load is changed. So I'll just first explain the circuit diagram, then we will go for the output waveform. Okay. So again, we'll go for circuit diagram. Now we have to consider here the load is RL. It is inductive load. We have to consider here load is RL. Initially, we consider the load as a resistive load, only R load. But now it's a RL load, inductive load. Now what happens in inductive load? The working, now this time the diode D1 and D2s are required. Without D1, D2, your circuit is output load current is discontinuous. So we have to connect the D1 and D2. Otherwise, your load current is discontinuous. So we'll see the working of this particular circuit. Same when S1 is on, just keep in mind the load is changed from resistive to inductive. Now diode D1 and D2 is required. If you have not drawn the diode for resistive load, no problem. But for inductive load, you have to draw the diode D1 and D2. My dear students, again, one more important thing I want to tell you. This is a very simple inverter circuit and simple equations. Now, same kind of equations we will see in a next inverter circuits. I'll never repeat all equations in details. I'll just give the final result, because the procedure for to find out the equation is the same, right? So just a minute, just close it. So these circuits are very important. If you not understand these circuits, then you can ask me. Otherwise, this is a single phase half bridge. Now after this single phase full bridge, and then we will go for 3-phase inverters, and then last PWM inverters. So syllabus becomes more difficult maybe after this. So this is a simplest circuit diagram in inverter. If you understand this, no problem. But suppose is there any problem for your understanding, then you can immediately ask me. Okay. So if any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll go for the next. So diode D1 and D2 are required with RL load. Without RL, it means for R load, you can draw. Otherwise, you can remove these diode D1, D2. But for RL load, these diode D1, D2 is required. Okay. So I'll just start to explain the working of single phase half bridge voltage source inverter for RL load. Okay. Now the load is changed, that is RL load. Now S1 is on, again the same condition, initial condition, first case one, when S1 S2 both are off. When S2 and S1 both are off, then no current flow through the load, output voltage equal to 0. You have to write this sentence initially, because there are total three to four cases, right? So first case is when S1 S2 both are off, then you have to write down first case when S1 S2 is off, then no current flow through the load, so output voltage is also equal to 0. Then case 2, when S1 is on, case 2 when S1 is on, if S1 is on, the current start to flow from this EDC plus, that's EDC battery number 1 you can say, and battery number 2, right? So EDC by 2 plus P, then S1, then A, then RL, and then back to the battery, right? So current direction is same. Okay, that is current flowing from A to O, that is a positive current we can say, right? This is happening when S1 is on. Okay, now when S1 is off, when S1 is off, what happens? If S1 is off, when S1 is on, that time the inductive load store the energy with the uh, notations, that is positive A with respect to O. It means current flowing from A to O. So the energy stored in the inductive load having A is positive with respect to O, that is O is negative. Whenever S1 is turns off, right, immediately what happens, because of inductive load, it changes its polarity. So O becomes a positive and A becomes a negative, right? Its energy, whatever energy stored across inductor gets reverse its polarity. So A is positive with respect to A. Then this load start to release the energy through this battery. Then N, just a minute. Okay, so this N, then back to the diode D2, and then again back to the load. Okay, now this time load start to release the energy through battery, that is the second ADC by 2, then N back to the D2, because the A is negative, it means diode D2 is forward bias, right? So diode D1 is in reverse bias, so current flow through the battery, then N, then diode D2, then O, and then back to the load, right? I'll just go for waveform because it is again important. See what happens at this instant. Initially we can say from this particular point, okay, your current is positive. Okay, when S1 is on, current increases up to this one, that is a max. When S1 is off, S1 turns off, what happens? When S1 turns off, right? See, you can see here in this first half, that is diode D1 is on, here S1 is on, here D2 is on, and here S2 is on. Last line you can see here, one device at a time on. So there are total 4 operating modes, right? Plus 1, that is no switch is on. Total 5 cases you can explain. So we'll start with this one case, that is when S1 is on, right? So current increases across the inductive load, because change in whatever the voltage we are applying, so that change the inductive load basically, so opposes the change in voltage. So whenever the voltage change from 0 to max, then current start to increases during this first part, that is 0 to T1. Your D1 is on, so you just forget it. We'll start from T1. So at T1, when S1 is on, this is the first cycle. So S1 is on at instant T1, and it ons up to the time T2. At time T2, the S1 is off. At time T2, S1 is off. So S1 off, then I'll already explain you what happens. If S1 off, the charge stored across this inductive load get reverse its polarity. So O become a positive with respect to A. So current start to flow from O battery, that is second battery, then N, then diode D2, then back to the A, and then again a minus of a load, right? In this particular time period, you can see here the current direction is same. The current direction through the load is same, that is from O, A to O, right? When switch S1 is on, that time current flow from A to O. When switch S1 is off, still the current direction is same. It means current is still positive. Just see here in a output waveform. I don't know, is it that much speedily changeable or not? See, at this instant time T2, the S1 is off, but still current start to decrease, because the inductive load start to release the energy, right? Inductive load start to release the energy. So current decreasing, but still positive. The current decreasing between time T2 to T3. The current is still positive, but it is decreasing, right? So current is decreasing, and at a time T3, your current becomes a zero. At time T3, current becomes a zero. Okay. So it means that the inductor release whole energy through the battery called as EDC by 2. This energy released through EDC by 2, and this diode is simply work as a freewheeling diode, because whatever current flowing from load to battery, it required a closed path. Okay. Otherwise, this current will never flow from load to source. So it required something closed path, so that diode D2 is working as a freewheeling diode here, or you can say free feedback diode. So current passes from maybe flow from load to EDC by 2, then N through D to A, and then back to the load. Current direction is same, so current is positive, but when load start to release the energy, that time the current decreasing, and at time T3, as per the waveform, at time T3, current becomes a zero, right? So at this instant, the switch S2 is on. At this instant, the switch S2 is on. Now we'll just on the switch S1. Okay, launch the switch S1. So switch S1 is on. Now this battery terminal is positive. So now current start to flow from this positive direction. Now see here, the direction is reverse S2, then back to the N and negative. So current from second EDC by 2 to O, then RL load, then A, then S2, then N, and back to the negative. So this time the current direction is from O to A. Current direction is O to A. It means negative, or we can say reverse. Just check the output waveforms. T3 to T4, your current is negative. When S2 is on, your current is negative, right? So it reaches to the maximum, and when S1, S2 is turns off. Now we'll turns off the S2. Now S2 turns off. So what happens? If S2 turns off, then whatever inductive load store the energy, when S2 is on, that time the polarity is positive here, negative here, right? When S2 is on, that time the inductive load store the energy with the polarity O positive, A negative, right? But when S2 is off, then the polarity of this inductive load, stored charge across inductive load gets changed. So now O is negative and A is positive. If A is positive, then diode D1 is in forward bias condition, right? So inductors start to release the energy through D1, then P, then first ADC and back to the inductive load, right? This time also the current direction is same, right? Current direction is same. You can see here the current direction is still negative, but inductors start to release the energy from T4 to T5. At T5, see here it's a diode D1 on. This is the last stage. So that is diode D1 is on. So diode D1 is on from T4 to T5, and inductive load, whatever energy stored across the inductive load, that is released through this particular one first ADC by 2. So current flow from inductive load to A, then diode D1, then P, then positive terminal of battery, then negative terminal of battery, and then again negate O, and then negative terminal of inductive load, right? So this diode D1 acts as a freewheeling diode simply to flow the current path from inductive load to battery, right? So this is the working of this circuit. Now you can see here this particular T1 to T2, S1 is on, and again T5 to T6, S1 is on. So this is actually a energy stored by inductor, by inductive load. This is a energy stored by inductive load when S1 is on, when S1 is on. And this is the inductive energy stored by load when S2 is on. This is called IS2, IS1, right? Okay, last 1 minute is remaining. So start to give your attendance in a chat box fast. Last 1 minute is remaining. So give your attendance in a chat box. Hello. हाँ हाँ हो तुला 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 करता येईल पण पेमेंट जास्त नाही बरं का काहीतरी 9-10 हजार पेमेंट आहे पण जॉब नसेल तरच जॉईन कर दुसरा भेटला असेल तर मग नको करूस नाही मग तू एक काम कर ना तू डायरेक्टली ना फोन कर त्यांना म्हणा मी इंटरेस्टेड आहे उबाळे सरांनी तुमचा नंबर मला नंबर आणि हा मेसेज पाठवला होता तर आफ्टर इमिडिएट एंडिंग ऑफ एक्झामिनेशन मी जॉईन करायला तयार ठीक आहे चालेल ओके बेटा ओके लेट्स